Twin brothers are in jail tonight, accused of two Fort Worth murders days apart. Court documents reveal a bizarre set of circumstances leading to the first fatal shooting. However, a witness told police the second killing was payback for a robbery a few years ago. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager has been going through the police paperwork today, and she's got more. Peyton?
Steve, and the two murder scenes 2 weeks apart and right across the street from one another. We just learned that the suspect vehicle involved was caught on surveillance video in that North Fort Worth area on both of these nights. Fort Worth police tell us that suspect vehicle was registered to the twins' mother.
For years, that's how long two brothers waited to settle a score. On November 30th, 2025, their plan finally came together in a Fort Worth parking lot. A 20-year-old leaving work with his girlfriend had no clue what was coming. The attack was swift and calculated, with the motive tracing back to a humiliating incident recorded on camera in 2021. Before we get into it, leave a like, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Crime on Pulse so you won't miss the next case. Isaiah Gonzalez was 20 years old, living in Fort Worth, Texas. He'd been employed at Flip's Patio Grill, a sports bar on Fossil Bluff Drive, for more than a year. He had a steady relationship with his girlfriend, and by all accounts, life seemed normal. But beneath the surface, there was unfinished business that went back to 2021. According to police investigation, Isaiah, along with several others, allegedly targeted twin brothers Samuel and Solomon Gbadebo back when the twins were just 16. The twins reported being robbed, threatened, and forced into a humiliating situation where they were made to strip while being filmed. A report was filed at the time, but there's no record showing that Isaiah or anyone involved ever faced arrest or charges. That video eventually became crucial evidence 4 years later. On November 15, 2025, at an apartment complex in North Fort Worth, near 35W and Western Center Boulevard. The apartment complex had been dealing with a string of vehicle break-ins, so residents were frustrated and on high alert. Security cameras captured a white Nissan Altima entering the parking lot late that night. Shortly after, 4 young men appeared. One of them was 19-year-old Devan Randles. Born July 18, 2006, his mother, Tiffany Stewart, described him as a young man with a clean record and a bright future. He'd enlisted in the Navy and was scheduled to leave the following month. But that night, according to police, Devon was spotted wearing a surgical mask and rubber gloves. Authorities believed he and 3 others were attempting to break into cars. One of those vehicles was the white Nissan Altima that had rolled into the lot earlier. Shots were fired and Devon was hit multiple times. He was declared gone at the scene. The white Nissan Altima was seen speeding away moments later. At that point, investigators had no suspects and no clear explanation for what happened.
Get a piece of everything. Dip it in the juice. We supposed to make the juice fall out. Y'all ain't doing this shit right. You supposed to push it down and make the juice come out. Okay, you go. And you tell how it is, how it tastes. Now get some of the stuff. You like it? Is it good?
She's good.
Let me do it. They ain't doing it right. Hold on. Let me show y'all how to do this shit.
Just smack.
It's smack right, yeah.
Folks grave.
Oh, this nigga said on folks' grave. Who the fuck is folks? I want some crawfish. Okay, I'll get a shrimp.
What's the crawfish?
It's crawfish in here. Okay. Now, let me try. Let me try mine. I don't know who the fuck folks is, but on folks name grave, this shit good. Who the fuck is folks name? This shit good as fuck. I don't even know who folks name is, bruh.
When Tiffany received the devastating call, she rushed to the scene immediately.
Ma'am, you can't go in there. I'm gonna You're gonna get yourself in trouble.
Please let me see my son.
Let me tell you why. Can I talk to you for a second? I know you want to see him. I know you want to see him. You don't want to see him in the condition that he's in. And hold on a second. And this is why also. We want to figure out what happened out here, right? We have to preserve the evidence.
The pain of losing her son was compounded by what she saw as a false portrayal of who he was. Police reports indicated Devon had been involved in criminal activity that night. But Tiffany refused to accept that version of events. She turned to social media, defending her son's character and calling out what she believed was a campaign to tarnish his name. She also asked for help covering funeral expenses. In one post she shared, "To know my son is to know that he was actually a good child. He wasn't a thug. He wasn't for the streets. He didn't drink. He didn't smoke. He was smart, talented, and very ambitious. Devon was actually one of my children that was a square. He was not the person that they are making him out to be. My son used to cut hair, detail cars, did landscaping, painted houses, and etc. He wasn't a thief. My son was also a God-fearing young man. Stayed at church. He just got baptized last year. I never thought that I would have to do anything like this. With a heavy heart, I'm asking you all to please contribute and share this so I can lay my son to rest properly." She wrote in another message, "Detectives just left my house. They are trying to figure out who did this to my son. There were no break-ins reported in those apartments that night. My son was shot 5 times and they have no idea why and no suspects. This has confused me even more. I just don't understand. Whoever is behind that page created a false narrative to make another young black man look bad. How can this happen to a young man that wasn't for the streets? A young man that was actually going places in life. A young man that had so much potential. A young man that never gave in to peer pressure. A young man that stood on his own. A young man that was God-fearing and went to church every Sunday. A young man that no one could pass a blunt or bottle to. A young man that just enlisted into the military and was supposed to leave next month. I just don't understand. Like why?" Tiffany fought relentlessly to preserve her son's reputation. But police held firm to their account that Devon was engaged in illegal activity the night he lost his life. A memorial service honored Devon's memory. His balloon release was held on November 26th at Cobb Park in Fort Worth. Visitation followed on November 28th. And his celebration of life took place November 29th at Beautiful Feet Ministries. 2 weeks later, Isaiah Gonzalez was finishing up his shift at Flip's Patio Grill. The restaurant closed just before 2:30 a.m. After cleaning up, Isaiah walked out with his girlfriend and headed toward his car in the parking lot. What Isaiah didn't realize was that 2 individuals had been waiting. They'd allegedly been parked there for roughly 30 minutes, anticipating his shift would end around 2 a.m. When he took longer than expected, they waited. Isaiah reached his vehicle and got into the driver's seat. Within minutes, shots were fired on the driver's side where Isaiah sat. Isaiah was transported to Texas Health Harris Methodist Hospital and admitted to the ICU. Despite medical treatment, he didn't survive. His girlfriend, who had been right there with him, wasn't harmed. Police launched a criminal investigation immediately, and the circumstances strongly suggested this was deliberate, not random. At the scene, investigators discovered shoe impressions in the grass and dirt, which was evidence of where the attackers had waited and the route they took while fleeing, right after the incident. That detail connected the dots for investigators. The same white Nissan Altima had been recorded at the scene of Devan Randles' incident 2 weeks prior. Both crime scenes were directly across the street from each other on Western Center Boulevard. 2 separate attacks, same car, 2 weeks apart. Police began tracking the vehicle's registration and learned that the white Nissan Altima belonged to a woman whose sons were the twins, Samuel and Solomon Gbadebo. But investigators needed more than a vehicle connection. They needed concrete evidence. That's when an anonymous tipster reached out with crucial information. According to the tip, Isaiah Gonzalez had robbed the Gbadebo brothers roughly 4 years earlier in 2021. The account described how Isaiah and others had held the twins against their will during the robbery and forced them to strip while recording the entire encounter. This was the first solid link tying the twins to Isaiah's passing, but police needed verification. They secured a search warrant for Isaiah's personal belongings, particularly his phone. When they analyzed the device, they found the video from the 2021 robbery the tipster had mentioned. Police ran facial recognition software on the individuals in the video. The results confirmed that the 2 young men in the footage were indeed Samuel and Solomon Gbadebo. As the investigation progressed, detectives began surveillance on the twins. They noted that Samuel and Solomon were frequently seen wearing clothing and footwear consistent with evidence collected from both crime scenes, including Air Force One sneakers that matched the shoe impressions. On December 12, Fort Worth police executed a search warrant at the twins' residence. Nothing was confiscated during that search, and at that moment, there wasn't sufficient evidence to file charges against Samuel or Solomon. That same day, officers attempted to pull over a vehicle driven by Samuel Gbadebo around 2 p.m. on Garden Acres Drive. Samuel refused to comply and initiated a high-speed pursuit. The chase ended abruptly when Samuel's vehicle slammed into a fence just feet away from someone's home. Samuel briefly attempted to escape on foot but was swiftly apprehended by nearby officers.
We don't really hang out outside anymore. There's nothing going to hold you back. I mean, he could have hurt anybody, trying to get away.
Upon his arrest, police discovered he had multiple outstanding warrants from Grapevine and Frisco. He faced charges for evading arrest with a vehicle and resisting arrest, along with the existing warrants. Samuel posted bond shortly afterward. Because police still lacked sufficient evidence to charge him in connection with the incidents, he was released. On January 15, 2026, Fort Worth's fugitive unit finally tracked down Samuel and Solomon Gbadebo at a residence in Euless, Texas. Both brothers were apprehended and taken to the Tarrant County Jail. Each faced 2 counts related to the passing of Devan Randles and Isaiah Gonzalez. When Devon's mother, Tiffany, heard about this, she felt a sense of relief. After 2 months of fighting for answers about her son's passing, someone was finally being held accountable. Isaiah's family, however, responded differently. His sister took to social media, pushing back against suggestions that Isaiah was directly involved in the 2021 robbery. She posted, "Just 'cause he had the video didn't mean he was a part of it. He wasn't the only one with the video. Please stay off my timeline giving 2 cents where it's not warranted." In another post she wrote, "Imagine being so upset and miserable with your own life. You sit out here in the streets with your twin and take away the life of others. Imagine not having nobody to stop you from crashing out and messing up your own lives, that you go and mess up someone else's, too." The case ignited discussions online and throughout the community. Some people argued that if the twins truly experienced that level of humiliation in 2021, and if authorities never pursued charges against anyone, perhaps the twins felt they had no other choice. But regardless of what transpired 4 years ago, it doesn't justify those actions. Questions also surrounded Devon's involvement that night. Police maintained he was engaged in criminal activity, while his mother stood firm that he was innocent and wrongfully accused. In one Facebook post, Tiffany wrote, "You all believe anything that you all hear. Everybody knows my son. He was not one of them. He was at the wrong place at the wrong time. Believe what you want to. It doesn't matter. He is an innocent victim of a senseless crime." She added in another post, "You all acting like the Fort Worth Police Department have never falsely accused you all. My son was not out there with gloves and a mask on. They're gonna do anything to cover up stuff. My son was headed to the Navy. Never been in trouble, graduated with honors. Find somebody else's child to play with." Now here's where the legal situation gets complicated. In Texas, the castle doctrine allows residents to defend their property, including vehicles. If someone is actively breaking into your car, Texas law permits defensive action under specific circumstances. However, that response must be reasonable and proportionate. You can't simply harm someone for standing near your vehicle. But if they're actively breaking in or already inside, the law offers certain protections for property owners who use force. The central question in Devon's case is whether charges will be dropped under that doctrine. As for Isaiah's situation, there's less ambiguity. Based on the evidence collected, this appears to have been premeditated. The twins are currently awaiting trial. Both Samuel and Solomon Gbadebo are facing 2 counts each. If found guilty, they could face life in prison. The world keeps spinning and so does crime. Stay observant, listen to your instincts, and don't ignore the warning signs. I'll see you in the next case on Crime on Pulse. Thanks for watching.